Today's legal system has been hijacked by a group of dangerous predators who have made the Maine legal system a corrupt backdoor dealing enterprise. These predators are nothing more than New Age outlaws who are shredding the U.S. Constitution and violating citizens' civil and constitutional rights in the name of making a quick buck. To these kangaroo courts, you are nothing more than a cash cow, as one judge put it, that is getting milked. These criminals have come to the point as to make new laws, rules, and procedures while proceeding over a case, then make unlawful rulings without fact or law to support their illegal actions. Several Maine judges engage in this behavior. One of the most corrupt kangaroo judges in Maine is Robert E. Murray, Jr., bar number 003907. Robert Murray, Jr. was admitted to the Maine bar in 1988. It is important to note that Robert Murray was plucked from the law firm Rudman and Winchell. Just by coincidence, the law firm Rudman and Winchell has produced 5 of the most corrupt kangaroo judges in the history of Maine. Abraham Rudman, his son Paul Rudman, Gene Carter, and Bruce Maloney are all kangaroo judges that work for the law firm Rudman and Winchell. Every court that Robert E. Murray presides over is a kangaroo court. A kangaroo court is defined as a bogus court, the intention of which is to provide the illusion of a fair justice system where none actually exist. A kangaroo court is a court that ignores recognized standards of law or justice. Kangaroo courts are systems that are set up to give the illusion of a fair and just legal process when in actuality they do not support unbiased justice. The term may also apply to a court held by a legitimate judicial authority which intentionally disregards the court's legal or ethical obligations. Instead, these kangaroo courts decide the fate of the accused in advance, usually for the purpose of securing a conviction. This happens either by a manipulation of true court proceedings or by denying the accused a proper defense. Robert E. Murray is so kangaroo, he appoints court-appointed attorneys to defendants that work directly for the district attorney to obtain convictions. In a nutshell, Robert E. Murray's court, you are convicted as soon as you walk in the courtroom door. There is absolutely no innocent until proven guilty in Robert E. Murray's kangaroo court. Robert E. Murray's kangaroo court always favors a speedy trial over following proper procedure. He's just trying to convict with as little work possible. The court is a for-profit business, and time is money. Robert E. Murray is so kangaroo he will tell you you have no right to a court-appointed attorney if the district attorney is not asking for jail time. This is a direct denial of due process and grounds for an immediate judicial bar complaint. Despite what this arrogant kangaroo judge thinks, he does not have the legal authority to edit the U.S. Constitution at will to suit his corrupt for-profit kangaroo court. If you hear this kangaroo judge spew this outright lie, file a judicial complaint against him. And anyone who observes Robert E. Murray's kangaroo court proceedings will quickly see how arrogant this man really is. Robert E. Murray really takes total arrogance to the next level in a courtroom. The reality is, all Maine courts are 100% kangaroo. This is because before trials, the prosecutor, judge, and your court attorney, who actually work for the district attorney, always get together before the trial and discuss what the outcome of the trial will be. This is just routine. One court proceeding in Maine is called arraignment. It is supposed to be a formal reading of the charges against you. In reality, though, it's an assessment. This assessment proceeding is to profile you and gather information. The court lawyer of the day will come up to you and ask you questions for the district attorney. They write down your answers in the district attorney's file they have on you. Then in a few minutes during open court, the district attorney will use what you just told your court lawyer against you. Maine court attorneys use misconduct right in front of you. They don't even try to hide it. Maine courts are also so kangaroo, they routinely use fake jurors to guarantee the results of a trial. Robert E. Murray is complicit in using fake jurors to get the desired results. The same jury foreperson has been observed multiple times in numerous trials, all of which resulted in defendants being found guilty. In cases, though, where there's a police officer on trial for a criminal offense, the fake juror is there to make sure the trial resulted in a hung jury. This is how corrupt Maine courts really are. A judge is expected to be impartial expert in the law and to keep any court proceedings fair and legal. This simply does not exist in Robert Murray's court. There are several opportunities for catching Kangaroo Robert Murray in his systemic malfeasance and behavior. One type of judicial misconduct is accepting bribes, gifts, or personal favors. This means a judge cannot accept anything of value, whether it be money or something as simple as a free meal. These rules are in place because special treatment or benefits may negatively affect the judge's rulings. Hostility on the bench is another common source of legal problems. Complaints can be filed by attorneys, defendants, and plaintiffs who feel the judge was biased in any way. Judicial misconduct can also occur when a judge discusses specific details outside the courtroom with an individual who is not associated with the trial. Robert E. Murray Jr., bar number 003907, is so kangaroo, whatever he says should not be taken at face value. If he is complicit in using fake juror to get the guaranteed results, and in-your-face lies telling people they have no right to a court-appointed attorney if the DA is not asking for jail time, nothing this man says can be trusted. Robert E. Murray is 100% biased in his rulings. Men and women's sentences are vastly different for the same crime. He is also 100% biased in his decisions based on who the person is. If they are not a member of the ruling class Good Old Boys Club, one will get the maximum sentence possible. If they are a member of the ruling class Good Old Boys Club, they get special treatment and the minimum sentence. Here is just one example of judicial misconduct by Kangaroo Robert E. Murray, bar number 003907.
Vladik Filler filed 2 motions with the court with Judge Robert Murray, the judge in this case. One of those motions was a stay of sentence, that is, requesting his sentence, his 21 days, be pushed forward. And the reason being, he was still receiving, and up until today was receiving, medical treatment for an automobile accident. He had some soft tissue injuries and spinal injuries as a result of a car accident. And he was receiving treatment, and he wanted to push his 21 days forward so that he could finish the medical treatment. He filed that motion 6 weeks ago. The second motion he filed was to have his new lawyer recognized by the court, which is necessary. Yesterday, the judge, Judge Robert Murray, told him that he had to get a sworn recusal from his previous lawyer and get another document signed, a whole bunch of holy fuck, what the hell. And Vladik Filler got all that done. And Judge Robert Murray denied his motions, denied the motion to stay, to push the serving of the sentence forward until he'd finished his medical treatment. So he's being denied medical treatment for an injury, and also declined to recognize his lawyer. So he's now in Mary Kellett's jail with no lawyer, which means that although Vladik Filler is the principal witness in Mary Kellett's disciplinary hearing, he will not be allowed out of his cell to come up and testify because he has no lawyer. This is a more blatant, a more flagrant and over-the-top example of absolute purposeful corruption of the court. You couldn't write it if you were writing a comic book. Judge Robert Murray and Mary Kellett have both got to go.
A federal lawsuit filed by a man cleared of sexually assaulting his wife in Hancock County has been settled with more than a dozen defendants for $375,000. Vladik Filler sued the county, police, the district attorney's office, and the lead prosecutor, Mary Kellett. His lawyer, Thomas Hallett, tells TV5 News this is the first case where state prosecutors have paid to settle a suit involving prosecuting misconduct. A judge determined earlier this month all but one of the parties had reached agreements in the case. Filler's 2015 suit said said he was denied a fair trial and was the victim of defamation and malicious prosecution. Filler was convicted of sexually assaulting his wife in 2009, but that was overturned 2 years later. A judge ruled evidence was left out of the trial and that Kellett made improper statements to the jury. Kellett eventually admitted she violated rules of the Maine bar and was disciplined. The case is expected to continue against a final defendant who's a friend of Filler's ex-wife.
And guess who was a judge in the violating Filler case? Kangaroo Robert E. Murray, Jr., bar number 003907. If you witness a kangaroo court with a kangaroo judge like Robert E. Murray engaging in judicial misconduct, file a judicial complaint against him. Judge Robert E. Murray would not like me in his courtroom. I would have so many judicial bar complaints filed against him, he would be disbarred in no time. The only thing I can't figure out about Kangaroo Judge Robert E. Murray, bar number 003907, is how long does it take for him to hop to work?